Good afternoon, welcome to another video. Today's video we're going to be making a baiting pole. A baiting pole is a pole that you use to put out a spoon, baiting spoon for carp fishing. So with a baiting pole with a spoon on the end, what you do, you put your bait, you rig everything inside the spoon and you feed it out with a pole to the margins that you can't normally cast to. It's a fantastic stealthy method, similar to using a bait boat, but some lakes don't allow bait boats. It's also quite a neater method. So what you can do, you can put your hook length and your rig to the left or the right in the margins, or if you've got lily pads, or you can drop it right up close to the lily pads, or if you've got a bed of weeds and you can see a spot in the middle of the weeds, an area where the fish might be feeding, you can literally feed out your rig, put your bow arm over, feed your rig out with all the bait, tip it and dump it on the spot. I'll put some little clips up. I've used this already where we've been allowed to use bait boats on the water the other week on a lake, but I only had a few links made up and they weren't actually complete, I just stuffed them together. So what I'm going to show you in a minute is how I made it with my pole. So I've got 10 links. I'll put a list up during this video. You'll see a shopping list, and you'll see the bits and pieces that I'm using to make this. I've looked at other videos and this is the method I've gone with, and I'm going to give you a list of everything off the shelf, because a couple of videos I've seen where they use tape and bits and pieces, it doesn't quite fit. So what I've done, I've gone to the shop. So let me explain to you first of all. I'll put a list up during this video, so don't delete it, don't sort of skip about. Try and watch the video from beginning to end. And I'll put a couple of clips up of me use the baiting pole I used a little while ago. It wasn't actually fully complete. It was just a couple of links pushed here on the spigot with no clips, and it didn't have the foam inside. So I'm going to be putting the foam inside to 8 buoyancy. The idea is I've got some foam that's going to go in either end. You don't need to fill it up with foam. You don't put a load of mess, make a mess of it. Just put foam in either end, a couple of inches of foam, expanding foam. All you're looking to do is block the ends up and keep some air in the piping. But I used it the other week to great effect without any foam in it, and it simply did the job. First things first, let me tell you what I bought. So I bought 10 3-metre lengths, so it's 30 metres in all, plastic conduit, 25mm outside diameter. And I bought that from Tool Station in the UK. And at the same place, I also bought a length of 21. I can dig it out the lengths. I bought a 21. I think it's meant to be 21.5. Again, I'll put the links up during this video and in the comments below. I think it's 21.5mm outside diameter, and it doesn't quite fit into this pipe. I'll show you what we do with that in a minute. First things first, I'm going to take all the lengths, 3-metre lengths, cut them into 1.5-metre lengths. The reason I want to do it 1.5, I've ordered a bag, a cheap bag. I'll put the link to that below as well. I've ordered a cheap bag which should hold 1.5-metre lengths. 1.5 metre is an easy calculation. The 3-metre lengths, cut it down the middle, you get yourself 1.5 metres. And it's not too short, not too long. It's quite manageable, and it will fit in the bag. That's the plan anyway. So first things first. Now you can do this with a hacksaw. I've done a couple the other week, experimented a couple the other week with a hacksaw. But I'm around the bungalow project we're doing, if you're interested, up just a little above the property that we're renovating. I've got my table saw set up. I've got a stop there on my left, or your right, whatever. And I'm just going to cut these up into 1.5-metre lengths first of all. So let's do that quickly. Table saw. So 1.5-metre lengths. I'll see you. I'm just going to. So I've got 10 lengths to cut up. So the next job is to cut the spigots up. And then the spigot is cut up out of 21.5mm pipe, the same stuff, but different outside diameter. I've got a length for that. They're 1 3-metre length. I'm just going to cut up into pieces as many as I can. I'll just get my steel rule. So I'll cut a chest piece up. The first initial piece of cut up is 150mm long. So you want a piece cut up 150 long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark my saw. You can use a hacksaw, it'll take a little bit longer. I'm going to mark my saw blade, put a little pen mark with a Sharpie, cut up a load of pieces. So let's just go through the tools that I'm using on this job. Move it out of the way, it's one of the spigots I've cut up. So there we've got a piece there. Now I'm using that as a template. That's a spigot size piece. And what I'm doing, I've put that tape on there. That's about 70mm. So as long as that goes into my pipe when we do the reaming, I'm happy. A small Loctite to stick the pipes in. File to knock the burrs off, inside and outside. 8mm drill for the hole, I'll show you that in a minute. Spring clips. Again, I'll give you a link to all of these. The link to this on the website shows a photograph with a piece on both ends, but they come through like that. This is the type you want. Spring clip like that. A little bit of emery or something to help the burr, or you can use a file, it's up to you. And you might want a little Sharpie to mark your pipes up or whatever. Now it all adds up, and it does work out cheaper than a baiting pole that you buy from the shops. Now what I bought, the actual spoon, the inside's missed again, I bought a Signet, one made by Signet, which is a baiting spoon, and you also get a float as well. I think that's about £12, and the float was £12. That just simply unscrews. Now, I think the Nash Bushwhacker one is quite nice, but you need to put a different fitting on the end. But I think it's £30 odd, but this one. So what I've done here, if I show you that, you can see that. What I've done, I found a piece of plastic and I've glued it in. I pre-drilled that. I think I drilled it I think it's 8.3mm because it takes a lot of fishing stuff traditionally is 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 BSF. So it's 3/8 of an inch, British standard fine thread, BSF thread. So I think it's an 8.3 drill, you need to drill that out and then tap it 3/8 BSF, so you need to buy that as well. Depending on the head you use, depending on the spoon you're going to buy. The Bushwhacker ones, there's others on the market, Signet and different makes. I think the Bushwhacker ones, you have to build up a little spigot or something to go inside. If I was to get the Bushwhacker one, which I might do at a later date, it's got the two floats either side. It's not a float like that, it's just two plastic vessels at the side. And I saw someone use it the weekend, it tips quite well. If I was to get that one, I think I'd make up a small 25mm piece in the end, make that up and glue it with a piece, and then put your spigot piece in the end there. That's up to you, work that one out yourself really. Depends, what you need to do is buy your spoon first. There's a piece missing actually, I've not dropped it, it drops out, there's a divider that goes in there. And what that does then, wipe up the float, but it does weigh a little bit, so you put that around there, that goes on there like so. That screws for the hole into there. The only one with this, the problem with this is it rocks, so you need two hands to feed this out, as opposed to, I think the Bushwhacker one, the Nash type things, I think you need, you do one-handed. But again, what you need to do when you make the pole up, I'm showing you how to make the pole. What you need to do when you make the pole up is to buy your spoon and work out your own method of fitting it on the end. I can't help with that, depends on what you buy. So that's my method, that's what I'm using, and that's my pole. Right, now how do we fit all this together? Let's bring you around and I'll show you the next piece, next stage. Right, so to fit these together, what I've bought is a 21 to 23mm adjustable reamer. I'll put the link below and I'll put some information on as I start this video. Now here's an adjustable reamer. I'm not going to take it out the drill yet. Now I'm hand drilling it. So be aware when you're hand doing it, you need to slow your speed down on your drill, and it does rock about slightly, which does us a favour, and I'll explain that in a minute. Now this hand reamer, be very, very careful. You've got blades there. So with a reamer like so, be very careful because these blades are sharp. You've got a straight edge there, a leading edge there, and a cutting edge here. Now I've put some tape on there because I adjusted it slightly. Now there's these blades, I mean 6 or 8 blades there. They're in a slot on this shaft. These slots are deeper there, shallower there. So the further up you put the blade, the wider the blades open up. I think that's right. So basically, yeah, that is correct. Because what I did initially, I had this nut here. The blades were this way to the nut. This nut was this way. So everything was moved up, which makes all these blades smaller. But the spigot wouldn't fit in the pipe. So what I did initially, I did it 2 cuts initially. I had this nut here, the blades down here, this nut further up, everything was down this end. and then it worked okay, but the spigot wouldn't fit. And then what I did, I moved it up and I did another cut. It made it a little bit easier. I've discovered now, I've just got it in the right place. I'm not going to alter it, that's why I put this tape on, because I was fiddling about with it. I've just got this in the right place. It just cuts at the right size. So I've moved this nut this way. I've slid the blades this way. I've moved this nut up to tighten it all up. Just the nice size. What happens is when you're cutting the pipe, because the pipe this shakes slightly, and because the pipe moves slightly, you get what's called a bell mouth on the end. If I can show you the pipe I've already done, it's slightly bell mouth, so it's slightly larger. That pipe's not finished. Let's get one that's finished. So when you hand ream it, I'll show you, it's slightly larger at this end and slightly smaller here, slight taper, which does us a favour. So what you need to do, you're going to need to get a piece of pipe and you need to adjust it. It's got a lovely fit there. So in short, what I would do, I did, cut a piece off like this, a sample piece of your spigot, which is your 21.5mm piece, and then adjust your reamer, keep moving these blades this way until you get a nice cut. You want it to be able to go in and out nicely. Now what I've done now, this piece, I cut my spigots to 150 long. I mean, you can pick your figures you want, and then I've marked it with some tape there, 70mm. So I've got 70mm from there to there. When I ream it, hand ream it, as long as that 70mm goes in, and I'm happy. They're all going to be 70mm. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them back on the saw when they're dried and cut them all off to a nice length. They're all dead, because what's happening is, when I glue that in to here, well, it won't be that piece actually. I've done a piece already, let me show you. I've done one piece already. So what's happening, when you glue that in, they vary slightly up and down, okay? So what I'm gonna do now, leave them all like this and just cut them all to the same length after the event. So I'm gonna glue them all in and cut them all to a nice length, and then we put the hole in for the clips. So let me show you reaming one out. Just mind your hands, because these blades are sharp. There's my spigots, there's my pipes there lined up, there's my spigots ready. So you can deburr these if you want that, because it's cut on a table saw now. They're quite nice and neat. They're not too bad actually. So I'll take one of my pipes, move that out of the way, it's already been done. So I'll take one of my pipes. That needs to be done. Now you need to do these at both ends. One end's going to be left empty, one end's going to be glued. Now watch your hands here, because this is sharp. You don't want it, you want to try and keep it clear. Now what I've been doing, that's my test piece. I want that to go in up to about there. So I've been going down to about here with a reamer. I'll stop to about that length, that's plenty. So just ease that in. Now you can do it. You need to go in, out like that. Now do not slip, because that will cause some damage. What you need to do, it gets a bit warm, the plastic, it's only plastic, it gets a bit warm and hot. I'll just break the plastic out, or use a piece of metal just to clear the plastic. Now what you can do, as I said earlier, you can move these nuts this way, make the reamer smaller, and it goes in easier, and then move it this way and do another cut. So you can do it in two goes. I've found now, I prefer to do it in one. It'll take a little bit of time. If you do that, there you go, the plastic comes out. You can't do it in one go, or not. Now it's a little bit time consuming, because I've got 10 of these to do. I've got 10, or I've got 20, I don't remember. Like so. As I say, keep bringing the reamer out, in, out, Clean the plastic out, let the plastic drop off. Okay. If you do it in one go, it will clog up. That's it. Now you're fine. That should fit in there. Lovely. It's a bit warm. There you go. So we get one of those proper spigots. That's in there lovely, like so. And it should be, that's 80mm out, that's fine. As I say, I'm going to glue these in and trim them up. So that basically is one pipe done. I've rimmed one out. Now you need to do every single end, even your handle end really, because it'll all be the same pipe work. And that fits in there really, really snug. What you want to do is ream it, so it's a nice snug fit. And I used this the other day. If you look at some clips that I post as well, I used this the other day before I even done my clips. So I'm not going to do the clips yet. So what I'm going to do now, I'll leave you alone for a bit. I've got to ream out every single pipe. Plan is to glue these in. As I say, if you ream it down that depth, the spigot's a little bit long now. I've got to trim all these down now. I want to trim them down to 60 or 70mm, I think. And 90 at the moment. So I want to trim them all down, glue that and trim it down. So next step. Little drop of super glue. Oh, a bit running it is. Put it in the pipe. And twist. Do a little spin, like that. That's not going anywhere. Stick that in. Super glue on there, twist it. So, drop a super glue on the end, you can't really see because it's black. Drop a super glue on the end, put it in, spin it, it's tight, that's nice and tight. Because it's tapered anyway, as I said, it's bell mouthed at the top. Because it tapers down, that's nice and tight. Let that dry, and we're going to trim them all off to the same length. Then put our connectors on. That's one done. So for now, I'm only going to do a handful, and then we're going to join it together and see how it goes. So I'm going to do a couple of pipes first. So as I say, this one's got a spoon on it. Any spoon you buy, you have to adapt the end for that yourself. Cut them to 1.5 metre lengths. Put the adjustable reamer down the end. Make up your template, a guide. Fits in there lovely. That's done. I can go to one side. A couple I did earlier. They both got the spigots on one end. On the other end, they should be both. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so they're done. And then, if I just show you again, the piece I'm poking down the hole there is 70mm. 65, 70mm. So, I've got another one here to do. That's done. That's got spigot glue on the end, that can go to one side. Another one done. The one here I just did, it's not done yet. I think I missed this one out the other day, so that's got to be done. So I've got to do these two here. And then we'll have a go at putting the clips in the end, get a few fits together. So let's just ream these ones out and have a tidy up and get some clips in. I'll put a link below to all the bits and pieces you want for the job. Trying to find the lid for the outside. So, as I said earlier, the spigots I've cut out. I've cut to 150. Probably get away with 140, I think. Yeah. I'm only reaming that far, that deep, so I'm reaming it about 110 deep. So you've got to work out your little method, but as I say, the reamer is the key. If you get that reamer adjusted right, you can get a lovely snug fit on the end. So I'll show you a couple I did the other day. I used this the other day, because I've got to trim the spigots off here and put the connectors in, but I used this the other day and they're a lovely snug fit. Like so. Just got to trim that up in a saw. So what I'm going to do when I put the clip in, I'm just going to trim these up square. When I put the clip in, And the plan is to trim these all off to the same height, the spigots. And then the clip will go in the same position every single one. Like so. And when I put the clip in, I plan to leave about a 1mm gap between the two pipes, just so it's never ever going to fail. There you go. Right, let's do that now. Let's trim the couple up. So what I'm going to do, I'm trimming to 70mm long, the spigots. So I'll put them on the table saw. So there's my Sharpie line. I'm basically taking each part, lining the main piece of the pole, the 25mm pole up my line, bringing the saw down and taking it to cut. So you'll see then, I've done this one already, but when you see that I've taken the cut, you'll see that every spigot is the same length protruding. And every spigot is a little bit shorter than I reamed, because this tape goes up to my reamed hole. So I know that's going to go in. So I've just reamed this one here. As I say, it's just adjusted right, so I'm reaming it down to this nut here. And then I know then that that goes in up to my tape line, like so. Nice. So the hole's down about here. So I know then my spigot's going to go in when it's glued. So that should fit in. The other end of this should fit in nicely. There we go. There you go. Perfect fit. So I've just got I've reamed one more. I'm going to have a rest, it's bloody tiring. So these two are cut to length. I've got a few more behind me done. Just to ream one more. This is how you do it basically. It's hard work. And it snatches, so just be careful because the plastic do about 10mm at a time. You may be better off putting it in a workbench, it's up to you. But I'm getting through them. It's time consuming, it's hard, sweaty work, but you get a much better job. You really do get a nice job. So as you can see, it's got to go a little bit deeper yet. So I'm down to my tape mark. Again, if I get my steel rule, just as a reminder, 70, just shy of 70mm on that steel rule. So as I say, you can make yourself up a piece like that. You know then just getting hot. But yeah. While you're doing it, don't leave this pipe in there because it's hot and it's expanded. So that's lovely fit. Look. That's ready. That's done. Just clean this blade. Just be careful when you clean the blade out as well. You get a bit of plastic in there hot. You might want to use something metal to just pick it out. So that's two done. So the spigot should be pretty much the same length on there. The ends are reamed out. These are glued in. So that should now fit nicely in there, like so. Now what I'm going to do is just leave a gap and put the hole through for the clip. Right, now it's time to do the clip, the hole for the clip. So what you need to do, the clip that will go in there. And I want it, just so I can fit this in, I want it about halfway. So I'm going to pick a figure. So this has got to come out. Take the reamer out. 8mm drill. The size of that button, I think it's 7.3, I think they were, something like that. Now I've got to pick a nice position for the clip to go in. I want to get the holes in line. So I put it in like that, and I'm going to leave about a millimetre gap. So let's work it out. Let's move this up. When I do all of them, I'll set it up on the workbench and make a little template up. I'm just going to do a couple now to show you how it goes. There you go. One there, one there. Maybe about a millimetre. The thickness of the steel raw between the two pipes will be fine. Somewhere there, so just want to work out. Once I've done one, I'll just mark up and do all the rest. And when you do the clip, you want to do the whole the other end. So I'll show you how we do it. So I want to clip about halfway down the pipe. I'm gonna guess. So I'm saying now this is why I've cut these short. This is why I've trimmed them all up pretty much the same length. So going from the front, I'll say we've got specs. I'll say we want to clip about 30mm. 30mm. So I'm going to mark 30mm with my black Sharpie, which is not ideal. Let's work this out. I think if I mark that like so, and we go 30mm in from there, that'll be ideal, I think. So. So what I want to do really is bring that over. So if I like that. So I've marked the larger pipe, put them together with a little gap, and I reckon that's about right there. So now what I need to do really, that goes through quicker than I thought. It's soft. Put the clip in. I'll show you what I did. I put them side by side like so, with the gap. I measured 30mm from there to there, transferred the mark to this pipe here. So now we've got these joined together with the gap. Now we put the clip in. Let's have a look. Now put a spring clip in there as such. There you go. That's lovely, it's perfect. Now to connect the two together, because it's a snug fit anyway, these are just like what they call belts and braces. Put that in there like that, press the button. There you go. The gap's a little bit big, that's alright. That's it. That's nice. You need an 8mm drill bit there, an 8mm hole. Gives you a bit of flexibility. It's just a safeguard, belts and braces measure. Just stops it twisting, stops it pulling apart. Okay, so that's that one done. So now, we need to do the same this end. Now the proof of the pudding will be if I drill a hole this one, 30mm, and it will fit. They all fit together. Let's do the same on this end. Now what I want to do as well, when you drill your second hole at the end, so that hole's there, when you drill your other hole, that needs to be the same. That needs to be in line with your, you want them pretty much, so basically if your pin's there, you want your hole there. So let's do another one here. So we'll do the same again, just transfer it down. So again, because these spigots are all now cut the same length, leave a little bit of a gap, measure 30mm. Looks like it needs to be in line. That's it, it's lovely, look. Let's get the spoon one done. So I've done a couple of lines on the bench. There, ignore this line, so there. So this line is to the centre, from the end to the centre of the hole. This line is from the end to the centre of that button. So in short, as long as all the spigots are the same length, so that should work. Right, so that's not got any holes in it, is it? Yeah, if it's got a hole, it needs to make it in line. So that's got a hole there. Bring it along to about there. Put a hole in. Before I pack away, I'll try them all in. Try them mix. You want them all to fit basically. Eyeball like so. But you really could do with a pillar drill of some sort, get it nice and central, but God, it's so soft. There you go. So the proof is, let's just see. Well, that one should fit what I did earlier. Oh no, I didn't bloody. What am I doing? Oh, that's got a clip. Right, oh, let's get a clip in there. Poke a clip down. So now let's see, swap them over. Let's see what happens. Doing this sort of live. That should fit there. Just about, yep. That fits. If you get one that doesn't fit, all you need to do is trim that end back slightly. There you go. Right, they fit. They're done. Two finished. So the spoon on the end there. That's the reamed end. So we need to put a hole. This is for reamed. That's non-spigot and this is spigot. So is that right? Yeah, I think so. Got a hole there. Cool, that's very good. I think this one drilling before they get rimmed out. There you go, a little tip for you. Drilling before. I'm going to cut that back. That's fine. It broke a little bit there because you're only reaming about half a mil. I think it's 0.25. And it's just a fail-safe mechanism. So that's 2 lengths done. And obviously you'll be on the water with that. And then you feed that out. It's a bit brittle, you've got to just be careful, quite bendy, but I need to put some foam in there. That's my method for making the baiting pole, people. Lessons to be learned so far. You'd probably be better off doing the holes first, ream after, because it's a little bit brittle. Well, not brittle, just thin. Maybe just slightly speed down on the drill. You really need a pillar drill just to pull that through slowly, or a manual mill or something just to make the holes nice and neat. And next job is, I haven't got it with me at the moment, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Just put some expanding foam at either end. You don't want a lot of expanding foam. Now, before you put the clips in there, you can take the clips out. Before you do the clips, you can do the holes, but don't do the clips. Now, all you need is expanding foam, 1 tin, 1 can of the throwaway type. Don't bother the fancy guns or anything. Throwaway can of expanding foam. I'll put a link below. You can go to your local Wickes screw fix or tool station or whatever. All you need is to squirt a bit of foam down that end there, and a little bit of foam down that end there. Gives it a bit more rigidity, but it also, what it does, it stops the air, it locks the air inside it, helps it float. Okay. You can put a bit, if you've got extra foam, feel free to tip the pipe up and down, get the foam down inside, makes it a bit more rigid, and again it helps it float. But the idea is what you're looking to do, you're looking to lock the air inside it. And so that's it basically. First pipe there, choose your spoon. I've gone with the Signet float. And clips, 8mm hole. I'll put links below to the bits and pieces you can buy. And it seems to work, yeah. So I've got a load more parts to finish off yet, a little bit time consuming, I must admit. The clip method worked, I'm pleased with it. Thank you for watching. As I say, there'll be other clips coming. There's another couple of videos coming up with me using it. I want to get out and use this, finish it off. Plenty of holes to ream, but I've got all day. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe for more. Thank you, bye bye.